Hello Year 9, this is Mr. Shaban and today we're going to take the workbook past paper questions based on the unit plans. Starting first with the past paper question, we have the first question: complete the equation for photosynthesis. As you can see, we have an equation, a word equation, and underneath we have two questions. What type of energy is required for photosynthesis and what is the source of this energy? I'm going to give you 1 minute only to figure out the answers, then we're going to find out the answers together. In the word equation, we have carbon dioxide. When we add carbon dioxide along with water, we get glucose plus oxygen. And don't forget to put on top of the arrow that we have sunlight along with chlorophyll. What type of energy is required for photosynthesis? We require the sun energy or solar energy. And what is the source of this energy? This came from the sun. Next question is an investigation. A student placed a plant into a dark cupboard and then particularly cover one leaf A, with a piece of card. After 2 days, she carried out a test for starch on leaf A and on the other leaf, as shown below. We have leaf A, we have leaf B. One is covered, the other one is not covered. When iodine was added to leaf B, it turned completely black. Which part of leaf A would turn black? Leaf A, we have leaf which is exposed to the outside, and we have part which is covered. Okay, so I want you to figure out which part exactly will test positive to the iodine. Shade this area on the leaf below and explain your answer. So please take a minute to think about it, and then we're going to find out the answer together. Perfect. The part which was covered by the card stopped the light from getting to the leaf, and therefore it cannot do photosynthesis, and therefore it cannot produce starch. So this part is not going to have any starch and is not going to turn black, while the other part of the leaf is going to turn black due to the presence of starch and due to the process of photosynthesis. Next question. we have a student decided to investigate the effect of light intensity on the rate of photosynthesis. They set up the equipment as shown below. The result of this experiment were recorded as following. So we have a table. On one side we have the distance between the bondweed and the light source. The other side we have the number of bubbles produced per minute. As you can see, we have started with 10 centimeters going up to 50 centimeters, and the other side we have the number of bubbles that came as a result of this particular distance. At 10 centimeters we have 20 bubbles of oxygen. This indicates that we have huge rate or high rate of photosynthesis. As you go back up to 50, we have less number of oxygen bubbles, which was zero number of oxygen bubbles were created. That is going to give you a clue. So I'm going to give you a minute in order to find out the independent and dependent and control variable, and to find out the answer of the second question. First of all, we can represent the table within this graph. As you can see displayed on the video, the graph was done between the distance and the number of bubbles. You can create your own graph, but make sure you label the axis and you place the unit next to each axis. Next question, the independent variable is the light intensity. The dependent variable is the number of bubbles produced. I want you to understand a point. The difference between independent and dependent variable. I want you to imagine yourself and your father. Father is the one who's responsible for giving you the money in order for you to buy some stuff. So the father controls the amount of money that you're going to take in order to get or to buy or to purchase any stuff. So your father is going to be called independent variable. He's the one which is controlling the amount of money that you are going to buy with it the stuff. If he give you a lot amount of money, you're going to buy expensive stuff. Give you less money, you're going to buy a small amount of stuff or whatever you're going to buy, but it's going to be affected with the amount of money that was given by your father. So light is what changes or controls the photosynthesis. So light is independent variable. The number of bubbles, which is representing the rate of photosynthesis, is dependent variable. It changes based on the light intensity, changes based on the independent variable. And the control is the stuff that you need to keep the same in order to have a fair test, which is the same amount of time, same amount of bondweed, and same power of lamp. Next question, describe the effect of light intensity on the rate of photosynthesis. As we have discussed earlier, as the light intensity increases, the rate of photosynthesis increases as well, and this is going to maximize the photosynthesis, and this is going to cause more bubbles of oxygen will be created. Next, we're going to take the workbook questions. We're going to start with exercise 1.2, which is fertilizers. I want you to take 2 minutes in order to figure out the answers for this question, and then we're going to revise the answers together. Okay, the first question, what yield of grain did the farmer get if he didn't add any fertilizer to the field? As you can see, we can find this from the graph. By adding 0 fertilizer, we're going to get 4 tons per hectare. This is found on the axis, right on the axis. Above the 0, go up. This is the origin point of the graph, 4 tons per hectare. The second question, how much fertilizer should the farmer add to the field to get a 50% increase in yield? Show how you worked out your answer. 50% of the 4 tons, 2 tons. Third question, the farmer decided that there was no need to add more than about 60 kilograms of fertilizer per hectare. Explain how the result of the experiment support his decision. Because adding more than 60 kilograms per hectare gives only a very small increase in the yield. It didn't give you an extra result, but it gave you a slight or small increase in the yield, and this is going to increase the cost but is not going to return with an income for the fertilizer. For the farmer. Explain why the yield of grain increases when nitrate containing fertilizer is added. Because the wheat plants use the nitrate to make protein, the protein can be used to make new cells, some of which will be used to produce the grains. Suggest why the result of this experiment might be different if it was repeated in a different place. Because in a different place there might be a different amount of nitrate in the soil before the fertilizer is added. There might be a lack of other minerals in the soil, or the soil might be better or worse at holding water. There might be more shade in one place than another. The temperature might be different. All of these variables are variables that affect the growth of the plant and the grain production, so you need to keep them in mind.